Oh boy. Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for Borderlands, directed by Eli Roth, and is an adaptation of the video game series from 2K and Gearbox. The movie follows a bounty hunter named Lilith, played by Cate Blanchett, who is contracted by this guy named Atlas to track down his missing daughter. And this involves Lilith going back to the desert wasteland that is Pandora to try to get this girl back. However, once she soon tracks down the girl, she finds out that Atlas wants her for his own personal gain, and thus she and a bunch of other characters are on an adventure to try and discover this missing vault that this girl may be the key to. Is that a complicated plot scenario? Were you lost when I was describing it? Good, because that's exactly the same feeling I had when watching this movie. Every time I saw the trailer for this movie, I just rolled my eyes. It looked too overblown, too fake, and just totally uninspired. Now, I'm not a fan of the Borderlands games. That's not to say I dislike them, I just never understood what they were about. I remember my brother was a big fan of the games. I don't know if he still is, but when the game first came out in 2009, I remember him playing it a lot, and I'd watch him play it and go, I don't understand this. It's just a weird game, but and the art style is so cool. So I basically became an old man watching my brother play this game. I've never played any of the games. I have no real context or attachment to them, which should be fine going into this movie because I'm a firm believer that you shouldn't know the source material beforehand before going into a movie adaptation. Whether it's a book, comic, video game, TV show, you should not have to know the source material before going into the movie because the movie should be able to act on its own. And after seeing this movie, having just rolled my eyes at all the trailers, I didn't think it was as bad as I was led to believe. It's worse. It is so much worse. Yeah, I quoted Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and it's clear that this movie wants to try to be Guardians of the Galaxy. Except the problem is that it's not funny. Eli Roth and his co-writer have no comic timing. It's just bombasting you with one bad joke after another. And the characters are all terrible. Whether they're super one-note like Lilith, or they're flat-out unlikable. The two biggest offenders, in my opinion, when it comes to unlikable characters is Tiny Tina, played by Ariana Greenblatt, because she's just a spoiled brat who talks back to everyone and is just an overall pain in the ass. And then you have Claptrap, the robot who's voiced by Jack Black, and he cannot shut up in this entire movie. He talks nonstop. Every line he has is pretty much a joke. You just want to claw your own eyes out and just hope this little thing gets destroyed. However, in wishing that this character would just get destroyed, I found myself going back to Wolverine's monologue in Deadpool and Wolverine. I wish I could say you die alone, but that's one of God's best jokes, that you can't die, except that's on all of us. There's a point where you think he's going to get destroyed, and you're like, oh, thank God. And then he comes back, heals himself, and is shitting out bullets. The movie is also totally uninspired in terms of its visual look. It is an ugly looking movie and looks like any other post-apocalyptic film, to the point where I think they may have stolen some sets from Furiosa, because there are locations in this film that made me go, wait a minute, I saw that in Furiosa a couple months back. Which is in contrast to the game itself, which has an incredible art style. Why wasn't this movie animated? Like, the way the game looks, it was perfect for an animated adaptation of Borderlands. Oh, but wait, the games are rated M. But then that leads into the other big crime of the movie, is that the action scenes are not only boring and uninspired, but they're tame as hell. This movie is PG-13. It took the Mortal Kombat route, where it took a video game series that was rated M, and basically dumbed it down to PG-13. And I'm pretty sure their logic was, well, we can't sell an R-rated Borderlands movie, so we gotta just tone it down to PG-13. I hate to keep going back to Deadpool, but that first movie, the first movie, broke records for an R-rated film. Oppenheimer almost made $1 billion, and that's a World War II period piece drama. That shouldn't have made the money that it did, but it did. And then of course we're seeing that Deadpool and Wolverine is making all the money in the world right now. So don't give me that excuse that you cannot make an R-rated Borderlands movie and have it be a hit. You just have to make a good movie, because that's what all those other films that I mentioned benefited from. And given how poorly this movie is tracking considering its budget, the idea to make this a PG-13 movie to bring in a wider audience kind of blew up in their face. And then the story is just a complete mess. The pacing is all over the place. The movie moves too fast. Characters will go from hating one another to liking each other without any explanation whatsoever. The dialogue is absolutely awful and consists of nothing but exposition. There are no real character moments. This movie, frustrated me to no end. I seriously contemplated walking out of this several times, but I had to tell myself, no, if I walk out of the movie, I can't sit here and give it a proper review, because what if I walk out and then the last act of the movie ends up being awesome? Now granted, that didn't happen, but I just have an overall principle that I don't walk out of a movie because I'm not letting the movie win. There is absolutely nothing redeemable in this movie. I always have a go-to attitude of, okay, it's a bad movie, but there's gotta be something good in it. I always try to look for the nuggets of gold in a mountain of crap, and there are no nuggets of gold in this movie. It's just terrible from beginning to end. Even the things that people who don't like this movie say are good, like the action and Cate Blanchett's performance, I don't agree with. I said, the action is boring, and Cate Blanchett is basically sleepwalking through this movie. I didn't think she was that good. And I guess it has more to do with the dialogue, especially in the first act of the movie where they have her narrating everything that's going on in this world. The most positive review, and I use this in quote fingers, I've seen for this movie went, I've never played the games, but Cate Blanchett's doing a really good job in this movie. I wish they'd written the character to accommodate her age, but she still does a good job, and I think Cate Blanchett fans will love this movie. Everyone else, I don't know. What? That's not really a positive review. That's not even a review in general. And I imagine the thing that Cate Blanchett fans will think about when seeing this is, why the hell are you doing this movie? At the end of the day, if this movie had come out 10 years ago, I could have easily just said, well, it's a video game movie. Of course it was going to suck. But we're in 2024 right now. Last year alone, we had two really good examples of great video game adaptations. Even though I didn't like the Super Mario Bros. Movie when I first saw it, I started to come around to it. And even though I haven't finished The Last of Us, from what I've seen, it's really good. Even in the past 5 years, we've gotten really good video game adaptations, like the Sonic the Hedgehog movies and Detective Pikachu, which when I first saw that movie, I went, oh, these things actually can be good. And before you get into the comments telling me Mortal Kombat from 1995 is a good movie, it's a fun movie. It's not a good movie. There's a difference. This movie, however, made me want to go and apologize to Mortal Kombat Annihilation, because that movie is atrocious, but at least you can laugh at it. There are several scenes throughout that are so memorable because of how bad they are. That's not the case with Borderlands. This movie is boring, it's uninspired, and no movie is worse for trying to make you laugh for an hour and 40 minutes and failing at every turn. And I just got so annoyed to the point where I was angry watching this movie. If I'm angry at a movie, then I gotta tell it to burn in hell. This might in fact be one of the worst video game adaptations I've ever seen. And its biggest failing is that it made me walk out of this movie going, what was the appeal of Borderlands to begin with? Because with something like Mario and Last of Us, it made me want to go back and play those games. And you get something like this and Five Nights at Freddy's, it makes me not want to play those games and question why they were popular to begin with. I feel so bad for Borderlands fans out there that this movie exists and is as terrible as it is, but I also feel awful for the Legend of Zelda crowd because this movie's produced by Avi Arad, who's also producing Legend of Zelda. And any excitement that you may have had for Legend of Zelda, it's about to be crushed by that giant moon from Majora's Mask. That moon is Avi Arad, and it's going to ruin everything for Zelda fans. Detective Pikachu, Sonic the Hedgehog, Super Mario Bros., and Last of Us prove that these things can be good, but Five Nights at Freddy's and Borderlands just took us several steps back. And there you go, that's my review for Borderlands. I hope you enjoyed it. And before I go, I want to give a special thanks to my YouTube members right over here. If you're already a subscriber and you want to help support the channel even more, you can do so via YouTube memberships, and you can get one for as little as $1.99 a month. Not only do you get early access to all of my videos, but you get exclusive access to my top 5 favorite series, where I revisit a movie that I love or like every month and then list off my 5 favorite elements. And next week I'll be doing top 5 favorite elements for Alien in anticipation for Alien Romulus next weekend. So keep your eyes open for that if you're a YouTube member. And until next time, I want to know what you guys think about Borderlands. Whatever your opinions are, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. If you want to find me elsewhere on the internet, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Letterboxd, Threads, and my theme park and travel channel right here on YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.